haven't
guess
watched.
no. Yeah.
Hell no. I haven't watched a lick of the WNBA. I don't know what's going on. I talked to my teammates like the day that we did exit interviews and all of that. And I haven't, I need a cleanse. Like, I'm booking vacations. Wes, we need to go on a vacation and do a podcast.
It's the interview that's sending shockwaves through the WNBA. Phoenix Mercury star Sophie Cunningham, fresh off a season of chaos and controversy, sat down for a chat and decided to hold absolutely nothing back. From dropping F-bombs about league leadership to admitting she hasn't watched a single second of the finals, and then launching into a stunning defense of rookie sensation Caitlin Clark for one specific, rebellious move. This wasn't a PR-controlled athlete. This was a person who had reached their limit and was finally saying the quiet parts out loud. If you're ready for the realest, most unfiltered take in basketball today, you're in the right place. Stick around, because this story is about more than just hot takes. It's about the battle for authenticity in professional sports.
So the Colts have Fever players out. Sophie was not there, but they give everyone jerseys, and Caitlin Clark, grew up in Iowa, is a Chiefs fan, refused to wear the Colts jersey. She just held it up like this. And she hasn't gone out and said, like, I didn't do it because I'm a Chiefs fan, but the internet was like, she's a real one.
I love it.
And it's just like, it's so good.
That jarring admission, hell no, I haven't watched a lick of the WNBA, does more than just shock the listener. It opens a window into profound burnout even the most successful athletes can experience. After a grueling season that ended just one game shy of the WNBA finals, Cunningham's need for a mental cleanse is a powerful reminder of the human being behind the athlete. This isn't merely a disinterest in basketball. It's a necessary act of self-preservation. She openly talks about booking vacations and needing to disconnect completely, a sentiment many in high-pressure careers can understand. This raw honesty immediately sets a tone for the entire interview. This will not be a series of polished, media-trained sound bites. It's a reclaiming of her own time and mental space after a long campaign dedicated to her team. By starting here, you hook the audience not just with a controversial soundbite, but with a relatable emotion. It makes Sophie a three-dimensional character from the outset, someone who is fiercely passionate about the game, but also unafraid to step away from it to recover. This complexity makes her subsequent praise for Caitlin Clark's own act of authenticity all the more meaningful, as it comes from a place of genuine self-awareness. It's the perfect setup for a story about staying true to oneself in a world that constantly demands conformity. To fully grasp the weight of Clark's subtle rebellion, you have to understand the depth of her loyalty to the Chiefs. This is a newfound fandom. It's a lifelong allegiance rooted in her upbringing in Des Moines, Iowa, just a 3-hour drive from Kansas City. She inherited this fandom from her father and has been a vocal supporter long before the team's current era of dominance. In a January appearance on the New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason Kelsey, Clark explicitly defended her credentials, stating, "People think I'm like a bandwagon Chiefs fan. No, I was there before Patrick and Travis. We were ride or die." This context is crucial. It transforms her action from a simple PR snub into a deep-seated expression of personal identity. Meanwhile, the Colts gesture was part of a beautiful, reciprocal support system between Indianapolis teams. Just weeks earlier, Colts head coach Shane Steichen had worn a Fever shirt to a press conference, publicly shouting, "I thought it was awesome to find a way to win there." It shows just the grittiness, the toughness, the resilience that they're playing with right now. This makes Clark's choice even more nuanced. It wasn't an act of disrespect toward a rival, but respectful affirmation of her own tribe amidst a friendly crosstown celebration.
I can win and roam it. Like, I can be like, I'm here. They brought, like, I'll put this shit on. Her not doing that is so incredible. I hope she knows how awesome that was.
You sent it yesterday, and I was like, I'm not surprised by it. I'm not, because you know what? Everyone's always trying to get her to wear something or do something. And
Sophie Cunningham, watching from afar, didn't just see a player refusing a jersey. She saw a peer constantly pulled in every direction, successfully drawing a boundary, and in doing so, demonstrating a rare and powerful form of integrity. Sophie Cunningham's reputation as the WNBA's most outspoken critic isn't built on random outbursts, but on a consistent, deeply held belief that the league's leadership is fundamentally out of touch with the on-court product. Her history of fines for publicly cussing out leadership stems from her core argument that many executives are good business people, but they don't know basketball. This isn't a petty gripe. It's a philosophical critique of the structure that governs her professional life. When she offers her half apology in the interview, I meant what I said, maybe not how I said it. It's a masterful negotiation of her own identity. She demonstrates the self-awareness to understand how her message is received, but the unwavering conviction to stand by the message itself. This is further colored by her new perspective as a recent addition to Indiana, having been traded to the Fever in 2025. She's not a lifelong Hoosier. She's an outsider who can observe the local dynamics with a fresh eye, which lends additional credibility to her strong opinions. Her frustration that people perceive her as uneducated when she curses reveals a deeper battle she's fighting against stereotypes and for the right to be both passionate and intelligent. This layered history makes her a perfect and powerful character to deconstruct the complexities of Clark's simple act. She isn't just commenting on a viral moment. She is a veteran of the wars of authenticity, recognizing a kindred spirit in the rookie. Cunningham's admission of needing a break is a direct reflection of the Fever's emotionally and physically taxing season. The team battled through what was described as a staggering number of season-ending injuries, yet managed to advance to the WNBA semifinals, showcasing the very grittiness that Coach Steeken admired. For a competitor like Cunningham, being on the sidelines during this push, likely due to her own injury, adds another layer of complexity to the burnout. Watching your team fight an uphill battle without being able to fully contribute is a unique form of exhaustion. Her decision to fully disengage by not watching the finals is a common psychological coping mechanism. It's too painful to watch others compete for the ultimate prize so soon after your own dream has ended. This narrative of mutual support between Indianapolis athletes makes her cleanse more poignant. Fever legend and Hall of Famer Tamika Catchings recently celebrated this very synergy, noting, "I go back to our days and thinking about Peyton Manning, thinking about Reggie Wayne. They would come to the Fever games. We would go to the Colts games." And what I love is being able to see just the support that has gone from one sport to the next. Cunningham isn't rejecting this community. She is participating in the essential cyclical process of recovery that allows athletes to eventually re-engage with that very spirit, stronger and more present than before. When Cunningham states, "I represent a lot of people who don't say stuff," she is articulating a heavy, self-imposed responsibility that defines her role in the league. This isn't a casual comment, it's a mission statement. In a professional sport environment where rookies and role players can fear fines or lost opportunities for speaking out, a veteran with Cunningham's platform can become a crucial megaphone for collective concerns. Her specific, repeated criticism that league executives are good business people, but they don't know basketball is not just an insult. It's a distilled version of frustration felt by many players who believe the product on the court is not always managed by those who truly understand it. This gives her support for Clark's jersey decision a deeper dimension. In praising Clark's quiet act of individualism, Cunningham is also advocating for every player's right to maintain their personal identity amidst the league's marketing machines and corporate partnerships. She sees Clark's ability to say meh to a promotional request as a small victory for player agency. Furthermore, her own journey from being fined for her outspokenness to now carefully considering how to say it right shows a maturation from a lone voice into a strategic advocate. She is learning to channel the same passion into a more effective, but no less powerful form of communication, ensuring the voices she represents are not just heard, but understood. This entire interview was a perfect display of the unbreakable Sophie Cunningham persona, a masterclass in modern athlete branding built not on polish, but on palpable authenticity. She seamlessly pivoted from discussing serious league fines to joking about her impatience with injury rehab. She confessed to ditching her leg cast without doctor's permission because, in her words, "I'm not patient." But this wasn't just a quirky anecdote. It was a profound glimpse into the mindset of competitors so driven, so restless, that even prescribed healing process felt like an opponent to be defeated. This blend of serious, controversial commentary and relatable human moments is her magic formula. It's a strategic disarming of the audience. Just as a conversation reaches its most tense and politically charged point, discussing the very powers that govern her livelihood, she effortlessly shifts the narrative to the mundane realities of life outside the arena. The baby fever, the ant problems, the desire for a stylish peacoat. This intentional juxtaposition is her genius. It makes her unpredictable and endlessly engaging. You never know if you're going to get a fierce advocate for player rights or a goofy friend sharing her everyday frustrations, and that unpredictability is what builds incredible viewer retention. This authenticity is what strategically shields her from ever sounding like a constant or one-note complainer. By allowing her audience to see the whole person, the warrior on the court, the critic in the press conference, and the normal person dealing with pests in her kitchen, she builds a foundation of trust and relatability. When she then launches into a justified critique of the league structure, the audience receives it not as the random malcontent, but as the well-reasoned, if passionately delivered, perspective of someone they feel they know and understand. She comes off as fiercely loyal, not to a corporate entity, but to the game itself, to her teammates, and to the principle of fairness. Her exhaustion isn't with basketball, but with the political noise that often drowns out the pure joy of competition. This was palpable when she discussed her recent trade to the Indiana Fever, a move that signifies a new chapter. Her need for a mental cleanse wasn't just about the past season's grind. It was about preparing her mindset for a new city, new teammates, and new expectations, all while her body was healing from injury. Furthermore, her impatience with her cast speaks to a larger narrative in women's sports, the shortened careers and limited earning windows that create a palpable sense of urgency for a player like Cunningham. Every week spent in recovery isn't just a pause. It's a tangible piece of a finite career she can never get back. This context makes her defiance, whether against a medical timeline or a league fine, feel more understandable and rooted in a deep-seated desire to maximize her impact in the sport she loves. Her persona, therefore, isn't just about being real. It's a complex tapestry woven from threads of professional pressure, personal identity, and a refusal to be silenced or slowed down. She embodies a modern athlete who is both a brand and a human being, and she navigates that duality by consistently choosing the human side, even when it's messy or inconvenient. This relatable humanity is what forges a powerful connection with fans that transcends traditional sports fandom. People don't just cheer for Sophie Cunningham, the basketball player. They connect with Sophie, the person who gets frustrated with ants, who dreams of vacation, and who isn't afraid to be impatient. In an era of highly curated social media feeds, her willingness to showcase the unglamorous, tedious, and even frustrating aspects of her life is a breath of fresh air. It creates a community around her that is built on shared experience rather than just athletic triumph. This community sees her not as an untouchable star, but as a peer navigating life's absurdities, who just happens to have an incredible jump shot. Her humor acts as a pressure valve, releasing the tension from heavier topics and making her entire narrative more digestible and profoundly engaging. It's this very combination that makes her such a compelling figure. She's a friend you want to have a beer with, who also possesses the courage to speak truth to power on a national stage, making her one of the most vital and interesting voices in the game today. As the interview wound down, the host posed a final, crucial question, the one that hangs in the air after any act of public defiance. Did she have any regrets about how blunt she'd been? There was a pause, a meaningful moment of reflection that seemed to stretch beyond the podcast studio, reaching back through every fine, every critical headline, and every whispered conversation she had sparked. And then the mic dropped. Sophie Cunningham said, "No, I'm proud of speaking up. Someone has to." That single unflinching sentence is more than just a soundbite. It is a thesis of her entire public identity and the beating heart of why this interview resonated with so many. It's a declaration of purpose that transcends sports commentary. In a media landscape saturated with carefully crafted statements, sanitized responses, and corporate-approved messaging, Sophie offered something rare and invaluable, the unvarnished, unfiltered, and uncompromising truth as she sees it. This is a currency of connection in the digital age, and she spends it liberally. Her celebration of Caitlin Clark's jersey refusal was, in essence, an acknowledgement of a kindred spirit. She wasn't just praising a rookie stunt. She was recognizing the same fierce commitment to personal authenticity that she has built her own brand upon. In Clark's quiet no, Sophie saw a reflection of her own loud why, a shared resistance to the machinery that seeks to smooth out every rough edge and package athletes into easily marketable and ultimately disposable products. This moment between them, though played out through screens and separate interviews, represents a powerful, silent solidarity. It's a passing of the torch in a way, not of scoring prowess, but a particular kind of courage, the courage to be disliked, to be misunderstood, and be fined, all for the principle of remaining true to oneself. In the end, this story is so much bigger than one viral moment or one heated opinion about league leadership. It's a central, enduring narrative of our time, the constant tension between the corporate machine and the individual human spirit. The WNBA, in its exciting and explosive growth phase, is a case study for this tension. As the league secures larger television deals, attracts monumental stars like Clark, and pushes for greater visibility, the systems around it, the PR demands, the sponsorship obligations, the league office policies naturally become more structured, more corporate. Sophie Cunningham, for all the headlines and controversy, has positioned herself as one of the few players willing to be that irrepressible human spirit, to serve as a check and balance, consequences be damned. She is the reminder that the league's greatest asset isn't just its logos or its TV contracts. It's a vibrant, messy, and passionately real people who play the game. Her journey, particularly her recent trade to the Indiana Fever, adds a fascinating new layer to this narrative. She is no longer just an external critic from another team. She is now inside one of the most talked about clubhouses in all of sports. This move places her directly alongside Caitlin Clark, creating a potentially powerful alliance where Cunningham's veteran fearlessness can help shield and validate the rookie's own burgeoning identity. Her voice now carries the weight of someone invested in the Fever's specific ecosystem, making her future critiques and praises even more potent and nuanced. She isn't just commenting on the league, she is helping to shape the environment of its most visible team. Furthermore, her stance raises critical questions about the nature of fandom and media in the modern era. Is an athlete's primary role to be a flawless ambassador, or is it to be a genuine competitor with flaws, opinions, and a life outside of their sport? Sophie argues powerfully for the latter with every interview. By revealing her burnout, her impatience with rehab, and her desire for a normal life, she forges a deeper, more empathetic connection with the audience. We don't just see a basketball machine. We see a person navigating the same complexities of career stress and personal desire that we all face. This authenticity builds a loyal community that trusts her, even when they disagree with her, because they believe in her fundamental realness. Her comment, "Someone has to," also echoes a long and storied tradition of athlete activism, albeit in a new, internalized form. While past legends use their platforms to confront societal injustices, Cunningham is using hers to confront systemic issues within her own workplace. She is advocating for the player's perspective in boardrooms she may never enter, fighting for the soul of the game she loves from the inside. This isn't just stirring the pot. It's an attempt to add new ingredients she believes are essential for the league's long-term health and integrity. She is, in her own fiery way, a reformer. So, as we leave this deep dive into the mind of one of the WNBA's most compelling characters, we are left with that final, resonant question. Was Sophie Cunningham too real, or was she just right? Does her bluntness cross a line, or does it simply draw a necessary one in the sand? The truth is, the very fact that we are debating this proves the value of what she does. She forces a conversation. She makes us think about the business behind the basketball, the person behind the player, and the price of authenticity in a world that often rewards conformity. Her story is a testament to the idea that the most powerful thing an athlete can be is themselves unapologetically. The landscape of women's basketball is changing at a breathtaking pace, and voices like Sophie's are the lightning rods in that storm of progress, sometimes causing friction, but always illuminating the path forward. She is a complex character in the best possible way. A loyal teammate and a vocal critic, a fierce competitor and a burnout professional, a league star and its most devoted internal skeptic. This complexity is what makes her, and the league she inhabits, so incredibly compelling to watch. Now, we turn it over to you. The conversation doesn't end here. It begins. What did you think? Was Sophie Cunningham out of line? Or was she speaking a necessary truth? Do you believe this level of authenticity is a net positive for the league? Or does it create unnecessary drama? Let your voice be heard in the comments below. We read every single one and love seeing this community engage in real, respectful debate. And if you want more deep dives into the unfiltered stories, the behind-the-scenes tensions, and the truths that sports networks are often afraid to touch, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. We have plenty more content coming that pulls back the curtain on the world of sports. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.